So I've been watching Last of Us Season 2, and I've had more fun getting my teeth drilled, stepping on Legos, and eating at Golden Corral than watching this show. And I'm not the only one who thinks this season has been an unmitigated disaster. Even Dina's face model agrees.
Can I help? No. Why? Because I'm stupid? That's not the word I would use. Really? What word then? Non-school oriented. Fuck you, I'm in school. Let me help.
Ellie's super smart. What? Characterization of Ellie being dumb is weird.
I'm pregnant.
Alright. Weird choice of timing there. I was that's Oh! What?
You don't know where that finger's been.
And I'm saying this after episode 6. That has probably been the best episode of season 2. Although that's a dubious distinction. To me, it's just the best of the worst. And it highlights my problems with the show, which originally this video was going to put forth what I would do to fix the show. But that would take several hours. Or talking in general terms, like hire better writer, directors, and actors. The cinematic version of Get Good. And also, since I wasn't a big fan of Last of Us 2, it would in many ways require me to fix that game as well. And I'll repeat that if you loved part 2, you're entitled to your opinion. But that also means I'm entitled to mine. And for me, that game was a depressing, nihilistic gut punch. Although I'll say it's practically a masterpiece compared to the show. That feels like either Neil Druckmann trying to apologize for the game by trying to change so much, especially the tone, or to make it look like a work of genius in comparison.
Hey. How hot do I look right now? Pretty hot.
What? Lights. Oh, good. They have a big ass generator down there. Natural gas, baby. You figured it out yet?
How'd you fix it?
It was a loose connection. Antenna. They found our mess at the school.
Good.
Can I help? No. Why? Because I'm stupid? That's not the word I would use. Really? What word then? Non-school oriented.
Bazinga.
Now in my last video I talked about Bella being miscast, which to me episode 6 highlighted. Now while I think this is the case for both seasons, it's much more apparent in the second, because Bella is way better at playing a 14-year-old than she does a 19-year-old, and I think either Caitlin Dever or Kaylee Spaney would have been better choices, although their acting talents can't fix the terrible writing, dialogue, and pacing. And I know the second game would be a real bitch to do in one season, but this season has just been a slog. It feels like half post-apocalyptic story and half cheesy teen rom-com with two people who have no chemistry.
So, we're having a baby. I mean, we and also, I guess, Jesse here. It was Jesse, right? So we're all having a baby. I'm gonna be a dad.
Bazinga.
But let's get to Joel, because episode 6 also highlights how much the show misses him. And even though I prefer the video game Joel, he's still far and away the best character in the show. And without him, it's like you killed off half of a good buddy team, like Butch and Sundance, Nicholas Angel and Danny Butterman from Hot Fuzz, Lee and Carter from Rush Hour, Riggs and Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon, Steve Martin and John Candy from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I could keep going, but I think you get the picture. The contrasting personality types, and how they play off each other is what makes this kind of story interesting. You have the plucky and precocious kid and the grizzled badass, who have both lost people they love, that eventually learn to love each other and become like family. And by taking away the best character, you really put all the weight on Ellie and Dina's shoulders, and it's just not nearly as compelling as a combo. And both the game and the show suffer because of this. I don't know, it kind of feels like in terms of timelines, we got one of the bleakest versions of the game, which is why it's one of the most divisive games of all time. Coming off the first, that was one of the most acclaimed modern games. And you cannot convince me that in a timeline where Neil wrote a game that was another Joel and Ellie adventure wouldn't have been nearly as divisive and sold more. Or another one where Neil is smart and makes a risky and bleak game, but doesn't completely cross the line that it's so off-putting it completely divides its audience. Where Joel doesn't portray his character and acts stupid.
Appreciate it. I'm Mel, by the way.
Tommy. This is my brother.
Joe.
which is the worst thing you could do if you're going to kill off an extremely beloved character. Except he decided instead of Abby, who in this version doesn't look ridiculous, and instead looks more like Sarah Connor in T2 than a roided up female wrestler. Anyway, in this version, Abby is unable to finish the job. Joel is either put in a coma or clinging to life, and instead of Ellie and Dina going together to get revenge, it's either just Ellie and Tommy, or the trio going together, which would help better shoulder the load of Joel, the best character, being out of commission. To me, that would have helped both the game and the show. Again, it doesn't fix the myriad of problems like Joe conveniently not mounting a defense, both against Abby, whose father was going to kill his surrogate daughter, and didn't ask for her consent beforehand, but instead just stays quiet, or against Ellie, because while Joel did lie, he was right. I could spend 10 minutes explaining why, but there's quite a few videos on YouTube that break it down. Even IGN did a video that was surprisingly well done, which I'm as shocked as you, but I guess it proves the saying true: a broken clock is right twice a day.
How does Joel choose one life over every life? How does he choose to save Ellie over the whole world? How could you do such a thing? How immoral! Except, it's not. Not in the way the HBO series has presented it, at least. And a key change from the game in the show only makes this more true. The HBO series' shift from spores to tendrils completely changes the nature of the virus, leaving us with a whole lot of questions about the Firefly scheme and what kind of data they have to back up their teen girl murdering plan. I'm just gonna say it. The Fireflies do not have their shit together. It seems unlikely they have the neuroscientists and infectious disease experts necessary to fix all this. Marlene confirmed they lost half their number just getting across the country. Are we really supposed to believe that they have the resources to possibly, maybe, pull this incredibly difficult process of stopping the cordyceps from further ravaging humanity off? I really don't think so. I think they're going to kill Ellie for no reason. Or, at the very least, that they don't yet have enough data to be sure that they won't.
That's the main issue I had with the moral conundrum that Neil tried to communicate. It's flawed. I don't know why he did it that way. If he was intending to put forth a Sophie's choice, he should have executed it better than he did. But then I could say that for numerous things Neil's done. But in the game and the show, it's a Hail Mary shot. Not only to create the cure, but then create enough to cure the world, and then be able to distribute it in the post-apocalypse. It's a logistical nightmare. Not to mention killing Ellie is your only option. I would think you'd have to study her for a while to reach that conclusion. But in any case, Joel should have used his words and communicated why he was right, because that would have made for an interesting back and forth. But instead, all we get is regret, which is ironic considering I regret watching the show. But what do you think? Do you also think killing off Joel was a mistake?